The difference between a stud of a listing agent and your average everyday listing agent can mean 5 figures plus. Today, we're going to show you why.
You better get fired up.
All right, guys, welcome on Labor Day, man. I appreciate you coming. Lissette, I appreciate you too.
Of course. I'm glad to be here, Joe. Thanks.
Absolutely. So, guys, today we're talking about something pretty dang important, man. And it's really, what is the difference between an average listing agent and an absolute stud, right? And while I'm telling you that it could mean 4 to 5 figures worth of your hard-earned money, I hear a lot, my cousin just got licensed. Mm-hmm. My daughter just got licensed. My whoever just got licensed. My best friend, somebody at work. And I think, oh boy, you're about to lose tens of thousands of dollars, not because they're not great or hardworking or anything else, but it's just a lot of the skills that really take time. It took me time as a newer agent. It took Lissette time as a newer agent to build up over the years. Through the mistakes, the failures, you start to learn things to implement, and it helps your future clients. When you build those up, man, those clients 5-10 years down the road really reap the rewards. So today, I want to talk about a lot of the why when it comes to why you want to work with a better agent. And when you see it, it really helps you set up those interview questions, hopefully that you're having. You should be talking to 2-3 agents before you list your home. But if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, just put it down in the comments and we'll respond before the video's over. So I'm going to open this and I'm going to tell you that everything we're about to talk about here is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, we're all going to sound great in a listing appointment. So how do you truly judge whatever it is we all do? What is the end result? How good is it? And really, it comes down to 3 statistics for me. And some are a little more important than others, depending upon the type of market. In this market, the number one statistic I want to know as a seller when I'm talking to a potential agent is what price are you getting for your clients as a percentage of original asking price? That tells me a lot of things, right? If you're getting 100%, 101%, 102% in this market, it tells me that you know how to price your homes properly, you're marketing it correctly, you know how to negotiate, you know how to keep a deal alive. It tells me a lot of things. If you're telling me you get 95, 96, 97%, or if you don't know that percentage, that tells me a lot about how you run your business. It tells me about how you negotiate. It tells me maybe you list homes with high prices consistently, and that's going to hurt me with time on market and my ability to get full market value, right? So how much are you getting as a percentage of original asking price? They should be able to answer that, right? Here's another one. How many days on average does it take you to sell a home? Okay. In this market now, 6-12 months ago, everybody, it was taking them 2, 3, 4, 5 days, right? Everybody. But now that the market's starting to soften out a little bit, you're going to see a difference in listing agents. Some are going to be around that 10 to 20 days. Some are going to be at 60 to 90 days. That's critical to understand, right? And then the last one is, and again, this really doesn't come into play now, but if we continue to soften, right now we're kind of seeing a plateau here in the Port St. Lucie market, but I do see major markets around the nation, and you never know what's going to happen in the future. I see them dropping, right? So the percentage of listings that you take that you're actually successfully selling, that's pretty important too. Now, this is a completely different market than 2008. I don't want you to think that I'm in any way comparing them, but I will say back then, I remember I had a stronger percentage and I was hovering around 70%. So for every 10 listings I took, I was only selling 7. Now we're selling every doggone one, right? So if I could compare, hey, I'm at 70% of my listings taken, I actually sell. Whereas the competitor that you're talking with at 3 o'clock today, they're selling 47.3% of their listings. That's a big deal. Now you know whatever it is I'm doing, all these things that Lissette and I are about to talk about, it's producing a 70% sales rate compared to a 40-some% rate for my competitor, right? Again, in this market, it's a little challenging because all of us are at 100 or dang near close to 100. So it's a little bit more challenging. But as the market softens, if it softens, that's going to become a critical stat. So Lissette, give us a list of some things that you would recommend people asking for, looking for when it comes to choosing that professional agent who's going to make them 4 or 5 figures more.
I mean, I couldn't stress how important communication is. Let's just start with that. Being able to have someone that you know is going to communicate with you, answer the phone calls when you give them a call, or get right back to you in a timely manner. It's also going to be an agent that's communicating to the buyer's agent efficiently and effectively. You want to know that that agent is communicating with the inspector, the appraisal. If they don't communicate with you from the get-go correctly, the way that you think is most necessary, how do you think that's going to reflect in the future once you're under contract? So I think the biggest complaints I get from clients with frustrations from other agents is they didn't call me back. They didn't return my phone calls.
Yeah.
It would take them days to get back with me. It's so frustrating. These are our clients that we have to be there for them. So I could not stress communication anymore. Understanding the market, understanding where pricing is at. It's not the same place that pricing was a couple months ago, and knowing where to look for that information so we can price a property correctly. I mean, we can no longer look at properties that sold 6 months ago. We now have to narrow down that search a little bit more so we get a proper feel for where the market is at. Experience is huge, but you may have an agent that has a ton of experience, but lacks in communication, in getting back with you, in putting the effort into your listing. So if you have a new agent that, you know, communicates with you and puts in the effort, that really makes up for that difference in experience. So don't always consider, hey, this agent's been in the business for 20 years comparing to the agent's been in the market for 6 months. That 6-month-old agent may be working their butt off a whole lot more than the 20-year experienced agent. Marketing, I still believe I see pictures on the MLS that people are taking with their phone. Why? I don't get it. Put in the effort. This is the biggest transaction for our clients, and they deserve the top tier experience and our effort into it. So definitely put in the effort when taking those pictures, put in the effort when making the marketing material. And that also goes into open houses. I'm a big believer in open houses. Not that I think that that's going to sell your property, but it's going to get your property out there, viewed eyes. Yeah. And get potential buyers in the property that maybe they don't buy it, but maybe they know someone that is interested in buying it. So having an agent that's willing to do all those steps and really just putting in the effort and communicate with you really sets everyone apart from the thousands of other agents out in the markets that are just slapping properties on the MLS and expecting them to sell on their own.
You made so many great points there, and I want to touch on a couple things that, you know, I would implement as strategies from a seller standpoint. I think everybody's nodding their head saying yes, but sometimes the question is, okay, what do I do with that information now, right? So you had talked about communication. I can't tell you how many agents, when they know you're a seller, they are going to communicate wonderfully with you. And then the second you're on the market, you're never going to hear from them again. And or if an agent calls them, I'm literally thinking of one in particular. You're probably thinking of the same one. There is a strong agent in my market that you can call that guy 3,000 times. Hey, I've got an offer. It's 20 grand over full price. It's cash, no contingencies. Give me a call. You'll never get a call back, right? So how do you know that as a seller? I always suggest, hey, you're interviewing 3 agents. Give us all random calls as an agent and leave a message. See how long it takes us to get back to you, because they're going to get back to agents at a much slower rate. If I'm a seller, I want you getting back to agents now, ASAP. I either want to know that you're interested, or I want to know if you're not interested, why not? What's the problem? Because we might be able to fix it, right? Maybe it's, hey, I hate your flooring. Great. If my sellers fix the flooring, will you buy it? Well, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Great. Let me call my sellers. Or maybe they're like, we will not purchase it, but it smells like smoke. Okay, great. Now I can go in, I can tell the seller, it really smells like smoke. 3 out of the 4 showings said that. We should probably look at some new paint, a deodorizer, whatever it is. Right now we can get some constructive feedback. But really making that phone call as an agent beforehand to see, and I know you're not an agent, you're a seller, but call them and say, hey, this is Bob Johnson. I'm an agent with whatever. And can you give me a call back? I got a question about one of your listings. See how long it takes them to get back. You'll be interested in that, right? You also talked about pricing a home properly, right? Sometimes it's hard as a seller to know, does that agent know what they're talking about? Does that agent know what they're talking about? And you're going to automatically, as a human being, fall in love with the agent who's got the higher price. Sometimes that's the price that's going to put you in the worst position, right? So really, how confident are you in what they're explaining to you? They shouldn't just walk in and say, hey, guess what? Your home's worth $525. They should say, sit down. I want to explain to you everything I'm seeing with the market. and why I think 515 is definitely too low, but 535 is definitely too high. And I want to show you why I'm recommending 5.25. And after they go through 10, 15, 20 minutes of discussion with you, you as a seller should feel so confident in their pricing because they've been able to explain it to you, right? If they can't explain it to you clearly and confidently, and you're not confident in it, I would question how confident they truly are in that pricing. You'll see that experts, professionals are very confident in their pricing, and they can very confidently communicate it to you as a seller, right? And then the last thing, in touching on some of the points you made, photos. We're all going to say we're amazing with photos. Go look at their last 2-3 listings. Ask them in the appointment. Pull 2 or 3 of your listings up. Let me see them. What do they look like? Do you see glare coming out of the windows? Do you see glare coming off the lights? Do you see shadows? Do you see lights that weren't turned on? Do you see overhead drone shots? Do you see shots of the communities if it's in an HOA so that they're showing you the community pool, the tennis courts, the basketball courts, the clubhouse, whatever it is? If you're not seeing that, you're absolutely not going to get it on yours. And I'm telling you, photos alone, professional photos, are $5, $10, $15, $20,000 difference, depending upon the difference in photos and depending upon the price point you're in. So those are great points. The only thing I would add to that is the confidence level. When they walk in, how confident and comfortable are they? I'm not talking about you got to be super smooth, but there are people that, hey, if I can make you feel comfortable and confident as a seller, guess what I'm doing with your potential buyers? I'm making you feel comfortable and confident. Guess what I'm doing with the buyer's agents who are negotiating with me on the phone? I'm making them feel comfortable and confident. What does that do? That increases the amount of attraction I get. It increases the amount of showings, the amount of offers. It increases the level of offer that I'm able to get. And now, not only am I getting you more showings and offers, but I'm getting you stronger offers, which result in a stronger price, which is what everybody wants, right? So if I can make you feel comfortable and confident with my knowledge, my expertise, and the way that I'm able to communicate it to you, you know I'm going to make the buyers and the buyer's agents feel the same way, right? So that level of confidence really matters. All of those things, though, Lisette's going to talk herself up. I'm going to talk myself up. All of us are going to sound amazing in the appointment. At the end of the day, those 3 statistics that I started with are going to answer the question of how good are you? I can tell you I spend $20,000 a month on leads, and I spend another $20,000 on television, and I got 7 billboards down every major city. But if I'm selling at 95% of original asking price, who gives a damn? You want somebody who's getting the job done, right? So ask those questions, but at the end of the day, the last question should be, tell me those 3 stats. Again, what are you getting in price compared to original asking price? How many days on average does it take you to sell a home? And what percentage of your listings are you actually selling? When it comes to experience, this is the last thing I'll end on, and then I'll toss it over to you, Lissette. I don't think you need to sell 70 homes a year to be the agent that they're choosing. In fact, there's reasons you might not want to go with that agent. They're very busy. How much of your time are they going to get? Are they more of a factory and they're not really focusing on you? Or do they have good systems, right? But I would also say somebody selling 5, 8, 10 houses a year, that's going to be a little challenging. They're only seeing so many hurdles. And I'll give you an example. In this market over the last 2-3 years, we've had appraisals fall short at a much greater rate than any time in history. If you don't have experience with being able to overcome a short appraisal, you're already, as a seller, putting yourself at a disadvantage working with that agent, right? We've had so many, I can't think of what they're called now, escalation clauses, right? I'm not going to get into the details of them, but escalation clauses are something that I didn't see 3 years ago. Did you?
No, not at all.
And now you see them constantly. And there are so many agents, listing agents, that'll say, I just don't work with those. That's not what I do. Most of those agents don't understand escalation clauses. They're putting you at a disadvantage by not taking the time to learn about them. Now, some learn about them and they just don't want to deal with them. I got it. But a lot of them, if you ask them about the ins and outs, the details, they have no clue. All they know is they read a book that said, I don't like them. So they said, I don't like them, right? But really understanding those things is going to set you apart. So I just want to talk about the experience level. You want to understand how many closings have you had in the last 12 months, right? Show me on the MLS. Don't just tell me, show me. Oh, by the way, you're going up against Joe Rosen. He told me whatever. Pull his stats up. Let me see them. Not only are you able to see that Joe Rosen's telling you the truth, but you're also able to see how good is that agent at flipping through the MLS and pulling up stats quickly. If they can't pull up stats that quickly, they probably don't pull up stats a lot. If they're not pulling up stats a lot, it tells you they're probably not selling a lot, right? So you're going to get a lot from that, and you're going to be able to see their confidence as well. So all that said, Lissette, as always, give us a golden nugget to go out on Labor Day.
So making this decision is a huge decision, and I know there's so many factors that play into it while you're making that decision. Also have an open mind. Sometimes you're not going to always like what the agent is telling you, but if this agent is a strong agent, confident, as you were stating, they're going to tell you things that you may not feel comfortable with, like maybe not pricing the property exactly where you want to, but because they know the market, they know that's where your property needs to be. Making certain improvements that your property needs to be done. Maybe you really don't want to do it, but they're explaining to you why it's important. So understand, if you have an agent coming in, they're giving you everything you want to hear and a high price, but then you have another agent that's maybe giving you a little bit of negatives, but that's going to help you in the long run to be a better listing in the market, competing with other properties that are comparable to yours.
100%. And I'll bring up the ugly one, commission. Guys, I don't care if they're charging you a low commission, a high commission, somewhere in the middle. They better be able to mathematically justify what it is they're charging you. If they're charging you 2% less than somebody else, that's great, unless this person gets you 2.5%, 3% more on average. Now you're losing money by saving on the commission, right? But maybe this person is charging you the same or less, and they're getting you a higher price on average. That person is phenomenal. So any commission that they're giving, handing out to you, and they're asking you to pay it, they better be able to justify what it is they're doing as far as investing in different marketing for you. And they should be able to show you the return on investment, which exactly is that, how much compared to original asking price are you getting on average? That's the justification, right? Guys, I appreciate you joining us again on Labor Day. Get out there, enjoy the grill, enjoy the boat. Lissette, you're going boating later today, is that right?
We're hitting the water again.
I'll be in the pool, bud, so I'll be thinking about you. All right, guys, the rest of you have a great Labor Day. I appreciate you joining.